Good evening from Hartsville, South Carolina, 2017 East Coast Basketball League. Game of the week today features the 4-4 Petersburg Cavaliers and the 2-3 Florence Wildcats. Hi, everybody. Glad to be with you once again. My name's Chris Shebit. I'll be here bringing you this game between a Northern and Southern Division, not a division game, one of the rare ones that we get to bring you here on the Game of the Week broadcast. So let's talk about both of these teams. Let's meet the starters first for the Petersburg Cavaliers. As I mentioned, coming off a loss against Augusta last weekend. They are 4-4. Head coach Kyle Dixon starting at number 0, Dwayne Richardson. Number 6, John Holloman. Number 12, Robert Pinkston. Number 22, Rashid Hines. And number 23, Lorenzo Bailey. Short bench today for the Cavaliers. We'll talk more about that here in a moment. It's the home opener for the Florence Wildcats today as they come in at 2-3. Head coach John Galbraith starting number 1, Leroy Williams II. Number 11, Davis Jackson. Number 14, Demarius Robinson. Number 30, Nathaniel Thomas. And number 23, Quincy Washington, who is third in the league in scoring, averaging 37.4 points per ball game. So we mentioned Petersburg. They're coming off a loss last weekend against Augusta. Prior to that, they defeated the North Carolina Coyotes in an important Northern Conference victory, 114-98. They held the Coyotes just 36% shooting, including 10 of 46 three-pointers. The Cavs, 56% from three. Florence, they're coming off a 101-90 win at Charlotte. That was back on April 22nd, so the Wildcats have been off for quite a bit. Quincy Washington led all scorers with 26 points on 10 of 25 shooting to lead 4 players in double figures for Florence. So Florence, they've won 2 straight after opening the season with 3 straight losses. This is, as I mentioned, their home opener. It's a very home-friendly bottom half of the schedule this year for the Wildcats, who come out with their home jerseys for the first time, looking a little bit like the Hornets, the old Charlotte Hornets. Just a little bit, those colors kind of reminded me of Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning. Man, that team was good. Cavaliers, as I mentioned, they have just 3 players on their bench. We'll get into more of those details throughout the broadcast. So just about set to go. Petersburg, it'll be Holloman and Williams for Florence to tip it off. Both of these teams fighting for playoff positioning as we're underway. Ball controlled by Florence, moving from right to left. Quick trigger 3 by Robinson in the corner is no good. Holloman the rebound. Petersburg has struggled offensively this year. Not too much scoring the basketball, but shooting-wise. So they need defensive stops. Hines over to Holloman. Holloman pass deflected, taken away by the Wildcats. Washington into the forecourt. Quincy Washington, 37 points per ball game. Gets it right side to Robinson, who buries a triple. And the first points belong to the Wildcats. The Cavs are the second worst team, tied for the second worst team in shooting in the league with Augusta. As they turn it over here, it's a steal by Jackson, gets it ahead to Williams. Williams will go to the line. So, Kyle Dixon and his team playing underman. They've had trouble finding consistency offensively this season, and they've turned the ball over a couple of times now already. You don't want that. Leroy Williams, 64% at the line on the season. Rims in the first one to make it 4-0. Williams, good rebounder. He's 4th in the league at 12.4 rebounds per game, and he's 5th in blocks at 3. In fact, Florence has 2 of the top 6 in blocks. Williams is 5th. Davis Jackson is 6th. Williams did a good job to follow his shot, but Richardson for Petersburg chasing it down over to Hines. Hines rises and scores from about 10. So Petersburg gets on the board. It's 4-2, the correct score on your screen now, in favor of Florence, as Pinkston with a bump. I've been told, keep your eye on Robert today. He was injured in practice and was unable to go against High Point. So Kyle Dixon said he's ready to unleash himself. Here's a three off the screen from Washington. Can't get it to go. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touched by Florence. So Petersburg will get it back, trailing by 2. Just underway here in quarter number 1. Dwayne Richardson, just his 3rd game of the season, getting extra minutes with the short bench, drives to the bucket and soars. That's just his 4th point of the year. Evens us up at 4 here in the early going. Washington skies it to Robinson, drives baseline. Williams out to Washington, drives to the bucket. Couple of pumps, no, followed the shot and scores. Let's see, Washington, 46% from the field this season, 36%, averaging a double-double. I mentioned his 37 points, also 10.4 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 2.4 steals. Pinkston with a triple. Kyle Dixon, Mr. Nostradamus, predicting that he would have a big game. So far, he's 1 for 1. That ball saved by Thomas. Washington. Nice pass underneath. Oh, Thomas missed the bunny. Followed his shot. Here is Williams for 3. Can't get it. Skying for the rebound is Holloman. John Holloman, 9.2 boards per game. A double-double threat from Vaughan State. Near side, Richardson. Bailey gets it back to Richardson from downtown, rims it in, and Petersburg leading it 10-6. So a good start to the game for Petersburg. Thomas for 3 for Florence, no good. Offensive rebound by Jackson. Williams had it poked away, stayed with it though. Jackson out to Washington, steps to his left and swishes in a triple. Richardson into the forecourt. Richardson left of the lane. Robinson in on him in the man-to-man. Hines from right of the lane. Can't get it. Robinson the board. Robinson, Williams left alone, extra pass. Jackson came close to traveling, missed the bunny. And here comes Bailey. Bailey poked from behind. Pinkston comes up with it. Pinkston gets a screen. Williams on a switch. And the rebound controlled by Washington. Washington pull up 3. Short on it. Fight for the rebound. Williams saves it, but to Pinkston. 3 on 2 for Petersburg now. The reverse. Richardson can't get it to go. Good crowd on hand here in Hartsville for the Wildcats opener. Mentioned it, this is the second time we've seen both of these teams this year, and I mentioned it during our first broadcast of Florence when they played the primetime players earlier in the year that although based in Florence, they're playing in Hartsville this year. They're waiting for bigger and better things, evidently some kind of a civic center or convocation center, something along those lines at Florence, set to open next year, and they're hopeful that they will be playing there. .7:31 left to go, 12 on the shot clock for Florence. Robinson from deep, off the back of the rim. Long rebound by Williams. A lot of offensive rebounds so far for the Wildcats, but they turn it over again. Richardson, the bounce pass to Pinkston. Step back baseline jumper, no good. Follows his shot, drives to the bucket, and will go to the line. Folks, don't forget you can use the YouTube chat. PJ Torres is out there again. I think he was our very first game of the week. PJ, I think, is playing overseas somewhere, if I remember correctly. So good to have you, folks. Feel free if you're on a desktop. It's a little bit easier to use the YouTube chat, desktop or laptop, but give us a shout. Let us know where you're watching from. Petersburg always brings a good audience as Pinkston goes 2 out of 2 from the charity stripe. Robert Pinkston, 80% free throw shooter. Corner 3 is good from Robinson. Even at 12 here in, well, I guess it's not the early going anymore. We're now 5+ into the ball game. Richardson up top, 3, Holloman. Missed it off the side of the rim. Jackson the board for Florence. Washington, Jackson in the lane, gets it over corner. Robinson tries it again, not that time. Williams tried to tip it up. Thomas missed it. Thomas' second effort, no good. And boy, Florence should be up by about 10, 12 points with all the offensive rebounds they've gotten. They're just not going from point blank as Pinkston is fouled. Foul will be on Thomas. Florence has a deep bench today. Most of their guys are available. Petersburg's missing Jamar Cooper. Congrats to him. He just became a daddy. Earl G is injured. Hurt his left hand, I understand. Also without Desmore, Jenkins, Wyatt, Chambly, and Granger. So a lot of offense out of the lineup today for Petersburg. Holding their own, though, in the early going on the expansion team, Florence. Nearing the midway point of quarter number 1. And it looks like we're going to get another foul on Thomas, and that will bring Albert off the bench. Destina Albert from Orangeburg, 12 points per ball game off the bench for Florence. Pretty good 6th man for John Galbraith, who we may see in this game, the head coach / player. Richardson, that's going to go off the fingertips of Bailey out of bounds, and we will have our first timeout. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside just past the midway point of quarter number 1. It's the ECBL game of the week. We're tied at 12 as we take a look at some of the action, other action going on today and tomorrow. Some of the other action going on. Last score we have from the Carolina Crusaders. They were leading by 12 against Charlotte, 88-76. And I believe that's all the scoring that we have for you. We'll keep you updated on some of the other action going on here today. Kurshima, glad to be back with you. We're even at 12, just past the midway point of quarter number 1. Wherever you're watching from, again, feel free to use the YouTube chat, interact with us. Rion, checking in. Pinkston from the corner, short. And the rebound control by Florence, and it's ripped away. Nice defense there from Hines, who comes up with the steal and bucket. Strong move to the bucket. Albert can't get it to go. Rebound by Holloman. Bailey bounce passes it for Hines. Hines back-to-back buckets. And he's on his own personal 4-0 run to give the Cavs a 4-point lead. Petersburg in a zone. Washington fakes the shot. Great ball movement. That was beautiful. Beautiful offense from the Wildcats. Williams +1. So Leroy Williams back at the line, try to complete an old school three-point play. Here's the player coach, John Galbraith, checking in. Galbraith, we talked about it. He played semi-pro in this area a few years ago. Suiting up again for Florence, give his team a little extra depth as he comes into the ball game. Richardson, Pinkston on the left wing. Pinkston gets a screen, now driving left of the lane, and he's fouled. So Robert Pinkston will go back to the line. Pinkston, I mentioned earlier, 80% free throw shooter, misses that one. 22.5 points per ball game. He's tied for second in the league with 3.7 steals, 53% shooter, 58% from behind the arc, 6.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists. Graduated from Bluefield College over in the mountains of West Virginia and Virginia, kind of toes the line. Quincy Washington, yes, from 3. Washington, season high 51 points at Augusta earlier this year. He's been over 20 points in all 5 Florence games so far. Holloman, Pinkston, 4 to shoot now. Holloman over in the corner. That 3 is no good from Quentin Jones, who's come on for the Cavaliers. Jones trying to get back on defense, but Robinson is open and he connects on a 3. You might be able to hear the crowd. Like I said, it's a pretty good crowd on hand here in Florence. Good sign for the Wildcats here in their home opener. Pinkston, step back, short on it. Bailey batted it to Jones. Jones, couple of fakes, can't get the roll. Albert the rebound. It's taken back by Bailey. Bailey for 3, no. Jones the offensive rebound. And away from the ball, we're going to have a foul called on Galbraith, I believe. So 14 to shoot now. Richardson directing traffic for the Cavaliers. Bounce passes it to Jones. Back out Richardson for 3. Can't get it. Goes in and out. And Williams with the board. Washington, strong to the bucket, got the roll, took a hard fall, and I thought was going to get up immediately, but couldn't. He's still down. Florence might want to call a timeout here. So Quincy Washington with an awkward fall, shaken up. Got up under his own power, though. Looks like he'll be okay. And we will have a timeout. So, timeout. Let Mr. Washington shake off the cobwebs. We'll be right back. Inside 3 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Wildcats with the basketball, 16 on the shot clock out of the timeout. Washington does come out for a play, and it's Dominique Lacey for the first time this season wearing number 21 on your screen. Pinkston on the right side. Here's Bailey. Tommy Starks coming into the ball game. He has it on the left side, takes it to the half circle. 4 to shoot now. Pinkston with 3, with 2. They're not aware of it, and that will be a shot clock violation. Good defense from Florence there. Folks, I'm having a little audio trouble. If for whatever reason you're having problems hearing me, I guess if you can't hear me, you're not going to be able to do this. But either if you can hear me, just feel free to use that YouTube chat. Let me know that it's sounding good. First game, first shot, first bucket for Lacey, who buries the triple for Florence. Florence starting to pull away now, leading it by 9. It was 12-12 at one point. Since then, 14-5 run. Jones caught up in midair. Driving in Holloman, yes. Big bucket for Petersburg there. Albert passes left side. 3-ball by Robinson is no good. Offensive rebound by Albert. That 3-ball no good from Michael Ellis. Holloman up top, extra pass, and Starks, thinking Holloman was probably going to take the shot, decided to cut to the hoop, and miscommunication, another turnover. Ellis going quickly. Ellis is fouled, and I believe they call it on the floor with 1:07 to play here in quarter number 1. Quincy Washington back out there, a good sign for Florence after he was shaken up. Lacey goes behind the back, and that pass off the mark for Washington. Pinkston methodically into the forecourt. Right side it's Jones, or left side it's Jones. Jones left alone, misses it back rim. Washington pushing now. Let's see, Washington off the glass, no, tip for the rebound. Washington able to corral it. Moves it to Albert for 3, yes! Florence opening up the first double-digit lead of the game. It's 29-19. Foul called, and they'll send Robert Pinkston back to the line. Scoring updates, Primetime Players playing exhibition, I believe. 42-27 is their score after 1. So Pinkston at the line. The correct score, I think, 29-21 now, as Pinkston makes both. The shot clock and game clock are pretty much identical, so the Wildcats can run it here if they want. Turnaround jumper, Galbraith. Can't get it, fouled his shot. Yes, and the foul. So Galbraith will go to the line. Just 1 out of 3 from the charity stripe so far this season. They call here an intentional foul? They're calling the players back. Not sure why. Okay. Now Galbraith will try to complete the 3-point play. Can't get it to go. Time to work with now for Cherry, who tries to beat the buzzer and cannot. 1 quarter in the books. All Florence so far, 31-21. We'll take a timeout. You're watching the East Coast Basketball League Game of the Week from Hartsville, South Carolina. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, everybody. Start of the second quarter. It's 31-21. Florence, the home team, playing in their home opener. They got probably the most or the best choreographed dance team, cheerleaders, whatever you want to call them. And they got them over in the corner. I don't want to tell the Wildcats how to sell tickets, but if I was them, I'd move them to center court between the game action. The girls are lit, folks. Glad to be back with you. Chris Sheeman, welcome you back. Hi to Quincy Washington's family up in New Jersey. Corey Jackson watching on YouTube. Thanks for checking in. Strong move to the bucket by Albert to start the scoring here in period number 2. 33-21. Petersburg's going to have to figure out how to find some consistent offense. They started the game strong, but as you can see, it's been miss after miss. Pinkston's got to be the guy to get it going. He misses the three, and then away from the ball underneath, we have a foul. So let's see the fouls on it. Looks like they're going to call it on Florence, so Petersburg will keep possession. Pinkston with the inbound. So Pinkston, Tommy Sarks out on the court with Hines and Bailey. Also Cherry, that's a 5 for Petersburg. Meanwhile for Florence, Michael Ellis, who has the basketball, with Lacey Washington. Also James. And I think I'm missing somebody. Also Albert. Bucket for Petersburg cuts the deficit to 10. Alley-oop. Nope. Ellis catches. Can't get it to go. Hines, good defense. Pinkston 2-on-2. Keeps it himself and glides in for the easy 2. Albert. Washington fakes the pass. Good defense by Pinkston. Pinkston, yes again, and Petersburg on a bit of a run now. 6-0 since falling behind by 10. Albert, alley-oop, oh no. Lacey missed the dunk. In transition here, Starks. Defender fell down, hits it from the elbow. 8-0 run for Petersburg, and that will lead to a timeout. Timeout, Wildcats will step aside. Petersburg with 8 straight to cut the deficit down to 4. Welcome back, everybody. Had a little audio trouble, and I think we got that taken care of for you now. Apologies for that. All you missed was the foul, and now Lacey at the line shooting free throws for Florence. And connecting on both. That ends an 8-0 run for Petersburg. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you here in Florence. I'm not sure what happened now. Looks like a false start on. Might have been a clock issue or. No, they called a technical foul on Petersburg. So Washington goes to the line to shoot the tee. So that 8-0 run, Starks misses the three for the Cavs. Now it's a steal by Lacey. Lacey trying to throw it down with the right hand. Took an awkward fall. He will go to shoot 2 free throws. Wildcats trying to win their 3rd in a row. They've been off for 3 weeks. It's the start of a busy week for Florence. They play 4 games in their next 8 days. 3 of the games are at home. So Lacey's going to get 2 hard-earned free throws here. Rims in the first one. Stick around at halftime. We're going to do an interview with one of the owners of the Florence Wildcats, Isaac Wilson, who has, we're going to talk politics a little bit. So if that's not your thing, I'll tell you right now, we're going to talk politics for a little bit. Mr. Wilson, very involved in the community here, so looking forward to chatting with him. Again, that's coming up at halftime. Jerry for 3, gets it to go. 37-32. Petersburg's trailed by as many as 12 in the ball game so far. Washington can't get it to go, but he's fouled and will go to the line. Petersburg coming off a loss against Augusta, but they've won 3 of their last 5 after a 1-2 start. I mentioned their scoring problems. They're tied for 2nd worst in the league in scoring with Augusta. And they're 13th in field goal percentage, tied for 4th worst in turnovers per game. Meanwhile, Florence, they're still writing their story. 5 games under their belt, like I mentioned. They play 4 times in the next 8 days. And 5 games in the next 14 after 3 weeks off. 38-32, Washington 1 out of 2 from the charity stripe. Richardson back out there now for the Cavs. Richardson top of the key. Washington has a lot of size on him. Here's Pinkston. Pinkston stripped by Ellis and fouled with 2 on the shot clock. So Robert Pinkston, who's been at the free throw stripe quite a bit here this evening, connecting on his first one. We got some more folks on the YouTube chat. Josh Parker, of course you could join. Welcome to the Saturday evening, the day party hangout here in Hartsville. Also, Eli Williams. We've got a Florence fan who couldn't make it out today. Glad to have you. Corey Jackson, I mentioned, wanted me to give a shout out to Quincy's mom. It's almost Mother's Day. We got to do that. Alley-oop. Lacey unable to do that again. He's missed, I think, 3 dunks now. Gwen Washington. Happy Mama's Day, Gwen. She's in Jersey watching the game. Wish she could be here. We wish she were here too, Mama Gwen, but Glad to give you a shout out. Thanks for watching. Quincy Washington, if you don't know his story, he started at Charleston College, 28 games, 2012 to 2013. Did some stupid things, let's put it that way. And trying to get his name back out there. He's a terrific basketball player. Absolutely tremendous basketball player. And finding an opportunity here with the Wildcats and really running the league through the first 5 games at 37.3 points per game. Floater from the baseline is no good by Albert. I had no idea that Quincy was from New Jersey. I got some Sicilian relatives, I've been told, that live in New Jersey. Haven't met them, probably won't. Driving in, Richardson had it blocked. Is it going to be saved? Nice play by Ellis to save it. Lacey to the bucket, this time lays it up and puts it in. The lead is 7 again, 41-34. Pinkston had some trouble with it. It's poked out of bounds. Very active hands from Albert. Back into the ball game for Florence. Demarius Robinson, another good player for Florence. He averages over 20 per ball game. There's some players in this area in the PD of South Carolina. Pinkston gets a screen, pulls inside the arc, too strong. Bailey the rebound for Petersburg. Jones, baseline shot is good. Big bucket for Petersburg, who is starting to fall behind again. If you're just joining us, Florence led by as many as 12. Washington back out there, buries the triple, and says hello to the sold-out fans. Richardson. Well, Kyle Dixon knew he was going to play small today as Cherry misses the 3. Good hustle play by Jones. Get an extra possession now. Richardson turns on the Jets to the bucket. Off the back of the rim, no. But he is fouled. So we said happy Mother's Day to Quincy's mom, Gwen. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there tomorrow. Corey, hopefully Quincy sent a present up there to New Jersey. Richardson connects on the first free throw. I nailed it this year with my Mother's Day gift. My mom just lost her dog, just died, and we did a photo blanket. And it's one of my marketing clients that did it, and I'm telling you, folks, photo blankets, if you're looking for something different to get Mom. Williams with the turnaround shot from point blank gets it to go. The lead is 8 again. Doesn't have to be of an animal. How about that? Corner 3 by Jones, swishes it in. Scoring starting to pick up again here, nearing the midway point of the first half. Williams' second effort got it to go. 48-41. Pinkston with Kyle Dixon directing traffic. Here's a 3 again by Jones. Not that time. Holloman the rebound. Jones in the corner. Tries it again. Too strong. Robinson the board for Florence. Quincy pull up from the right. Yes! That is his 4th three-pointer of the game already with 5:26 left to go in quarter number 3. Pinkston lost the dribble, just bodies getting in the way of Pinkston. Washington open. You don't want to do that. His 3rd straight three-point make. Florence takes their biggest lead of the evening, 54-41. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. Come right back. Taking a look at the playoff picture, the North is pretty much decided. Hampton Roads not quite clinching yet, but Carolina Kings with just a few games remaining. So Carolina Kings would basically have to win out. Hampton Roads would have to lose. So in the South, things a little more interesting. It's more about seeding in the North with Petersburg, Winston-Salem, and the Thunder all at 4-4, and Hampton Roads at 3-4. High Point's at 4-3. In the South, Carolina Crusaders looking like they're going to remain undefeated. They'll go to 6-0. All-Stars are good. Florence is going to have an upward battle, but they and Augusta and Savannah will battle for that 5th and 6th spot, respectively, it looks like, going forward. The expansion team, Florence Wildcats, leading by 13 thanks to Quincy Washington. Driving in, Holloman is fouled on his shot attempt. Corey said that they'll take a win. I'm guessing that's in reference to my Mother's Day gift to Quincy Washington. Still, Quincy, you got to send something up there. So back at the line, John Holloman, 64%, product of Virginia State, 5.2 points per ball game in the 2 years that he played there. Just under 15 per ball game so far this year for Holloman in his second season with the Cavaliers. Holloman gets 1 out of 2. So Florence, their biggest lead was 13. Quincy Washington is on fire right now. What a rocket pass. Lacey gets it underneath as Williams flips it up and in. So this is the biggest lead now, 14. Pinkston, pass deflected, and that's going to go out of bounds off the Wildcats. I don't know if Washington has aspirations of playing pro overseas or, goodness, maybe even a D-League tryout, but he's right up there with a lot of the primetime players. You know, Chris Moore, Terrell Smith, those guys. Jones for 3, rims it in. Big bucket for Petersburg as they try to hang around here. Coming up on 4 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Washington, heat check, not that time. Lacey followed it, had it stripped away, so we'll stay on this side of the court. Another sub as Tommy Starks comes back in. With a hand in his face, Robinson can't get the 3. Bailey the rebound. Holloman flies into the forecourt. Bailey extra pass a little bit off the mark. Jones airballs it. Starks trying for the rebound, and they say he touched it last. Albert. Robinson is bumped. We're in the Petey of South Carolina. Hartsville. Petey is actually an Indian term from the Catawba Indians, meaning something good, smart. The Petey Indians also lived in this area. They were a Piedmont tribe. Around the time of the American Revolution, they disappeared. Strong move to the bucket by Robinson for 2 more. Richardson. Here's Holloman. This is Jones. There's also a Petey River that winds through this area. Richardson is fouled, and he'll go to the line. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from the beach. That's where I call home. 2 more free throws. Dwayne Richardson connecting on the first one. So if you're Petersburg, you've got 3:11 to work with. Looks like we're going to get another sub for the Wildcats as Delquari Jenkins comes into the ball game, replacing Albert. Time now to, if you're the Cavaliers, start to string some stops together. They had an 8-0 run at the beginning of the second quarter. Jenkins, pass to Williams, scoops it up, can't get it. Rebound by Cherry, poked away. Richardson is there, and Richardson is fouled. Well, it was a pretty clean first quarter. The fouls have started to pick up a little bit here in quarter number 2. Again, stick around at halftime. Isaac Wilson with the Florence Wildcats going to join us. We're going to get political. If that's not your thing, you don't have to listen to it. But they're trying to take my health care away, and I'm not happy about it. So we're talking politics. First free throw up and in by Richardson. Isaac Wilson was named to a position with the Democratic Party, so I want to get his thoughts on that. Second free throw, nothing but net for Richardson. It's kind of a political affair. Kyle Dixon running for office up in Petersburg. How about the moves by Jenkins? And he'll get 2 free throws as a reward. We have a score update. High Point and Hampton Roads at halftime. The Hawks leading High Point Hawks 69, Hampton Roads 67. Jenkins, just his 4th game of the season, 2 out of 3 on the young season from the charity stripe. Young season for Florence. Most of the teams have 8 or 9 games under their belt. This is game number 6 for Florence. Second free throw good, and the lead back to 11. Dwayne Richardson. Here's Bailey. Bailey, scoop shot rejected by Jackson. Throw ahead to Robinson. Can't get it, but he's fouled. So Robinson, negate the dunk, is fouled, and he will shoot 2 free throws. First one grazes the rim. Demarius Robinson, 77% free throw shooter, unable to get that one to go. Robinson played at USC Salkehatchie, as did Michael Ellis for Florence. And I believe in between free throws, we're going to have a timeout. We'll step aside. 2:24 left to go in the opening half. 60-49 Florence with a free throw to follow this break.
One more free throw out of the timeout for Florence. It'll be Robinson back at the line trying to salvage the trip, go 1 out of 2. Chris Sheeman welcoming you back to Hartsville, South Carolina. Florence Wildcats home opener. And it's been a good start for them, thanks in part to the man you see at the free throw stripe, Demarius Robinson, also Albert off the bench, and Quincy Washington, who has been on fire. 1 out of 2 from the charity stripe. The lead is back to 12 for Florence. They've led by as many as 14 in this game. Richardson. That's Jones on the far side of your screen. And away from the basketball, an offensive foul is called on John Holloman, who can't believe it. 2:07 left to play here in the quarter. It was a quick-moving first quarter, and the fouls have started to pile up here in quarter number 2. I think this season, this ECBL season, if you totaled the fouls per game, it would be a record in any sense of competitive basketball. Justin Jones, who's come in here with his first points of the season in just his second game. Throw away by Richardson. The steal by Jackson into the forecourt. Jenkins being hounded. Sent over to Jackson. Jackson for 3. Yes. What do you do if you're Kyle Dixon? Florence has emptied out the bench, and they are using their fresh legs to their advantage. Nice move to the bucket that time by Jones for Petersburg, but it's all Florence by 15, briefly holding their biggest lead of the evening at 17 points moments ago. Jenkins pull up with a hand in his face, no good. Rebound by Bailey. Again, don't go too far at halftime as that's stolen away. Alley-oop to Washington from Jenkins. Throw it down, big man. Throw it down. 68-51. Jones on the baseline, floats it, no. Washington, the rebound inside a minute to go. Frustration foul for Jones there, and they're going to get a technical foul on Petersburg as well, I believe. Yeah, it's frustrating when you've got a lot of guys out and the home crowd is yapping at you and the home team is kicking you up and down the court. Kyle Dixon has to go into the locker room, settle his guys down. We've seen it. This is semi-pro basketball, folks, as Washington goes to the line to shoot the tee and connects. You know, this lead is nothing in semi-pro. Teams have a way of flip-flopping, so if you're a Petersburg fan, don't be too frustrated. Kyle Dixon's too good of a coach not to figure it out. So Washington gets the tee. He was fouled as well, so both teams in the bonus. So Washington will stay right at the line, shooting 73%. 4.4 assists. Talk about his scoring. He's an unselfish player as well, moving the basketball. Can't get that free throw to go. Washington again, 2 out of 3 on the sequence, and the lead has ballooned. It is 19 points. So a 2-for-1 opportunity for Petersburg here. Pinkston gets the screen. He's got to be the guy to get it going, and he does with a 3 there. Here's Jenkins. Inside, this is Jackson, and it's blocked out of bounds. So it'll be Jones the inbound. Hold on. Again, stick around at halftime. Isaac Wilson with the Florence Wildcats will join me. Jones, quick inbound. Robinson, double teamed. Washington, defender went for a steal. Let's see, Washington, behind the back. And miscommunication there between he and Robinson. So Petersburg's got 15 seconds left to work with after falling behind 19. If they could get a bucket here, going to the locker room down just 14 or 13. And now Robinson with a silly foul will send Bailey to the line. Lorenzo Bailey, 56% free throw shooter. Bailey misses the first one, 56% at the line, just a 31% shooter from the field. 6.6 points per ball game this season for Bailey, who gets 1 out of 2. 70-55. They'll let it roll. Will Jenkins. Jenkins is grabbed. My goodness. I'll say it again. Add them up at the end of the year and average them out. This will be the most fouls per game in a season of basketball on any level ever in the history of mankind. Going back to 1891 when they hung up a damn peach tree bucket in Springfield, Mass. I mean, just silly fouls. Jenkins misses the first free throw. Jenkins, 0 out of 2. Pinkston, the rebound, still time for Petersburg. This is Richardson to the bucket. Can't get it to go. And the first half comes to an end, 70-55 Florence. After one half of action. Folks, stick around. Don't go away. Don't go too far away, I should say. Halftime interview with Isaac Wilson of the Florence Wildcats is coming up here in just a few minutes. Stick around. Just about set for the start of the third quarter. Folks, I got big leagued up here. I spent the whole first half telling you about Isaac Wilson's going to come up. Isaac Wilson's going to do an interview with us. He big leagued me. He didn't show up. So I hope you weren't waiting around for it, because it didn't happen. I wanted to talk to him about his political aspirations. Now all I can do is guess. So since we didn't get to do the interview, I'm just going to assume Isaac Wilson is one of the more Republican people that you'll ever meet. He loves Republicanism ideals. I mean, he makes Robert Byrd look like a liberal, folks. That's what you get for standing me up, Isaac Wilson. This is on YouTube forever. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you here in Hartsville. Underway in the second half. Good first half for the Wildcats. Quincy Washington on fire from three. Wildcats playing well defensively as well. 70-55 as we go into the third quarter. Petersburg spent a lot of time in the locker room, so we'll see how they come out here. Good job by Holloman. Gets them started by following the shot in the lane. Got the easy bucket. Thomas, top of the key. Washington triggers a triple. That one's an air ball. Same starters, it looks like, for both of these teams. It's Richardson, number 0, number 6, John Holloman, number 12, Robert Pinkston, 22, Rashid Hines, and 23, Lorenzo Bailey for Petersburg. And for Florence, number 1, Leroy Williams, number 11, Havis Jackson, number 14, Demarius Robinson, number 23, Quincy Washington, and number 30, Nathaniel Thomas III. Playing for the Florence Wildcats, one of the owners, I understand, is a staunch Republican. I'm going to get a phone call later tonight. I will bet you. Williams gets it to Thomas. Corner three is good. First points of the second half for Florence. Driving in Holloman, stripped and fouled. Will they give him free throws? I believe he was in the act of shooting. So Holloman 64% at the line. Petersburg came in winners of 3 of its last 5, but struggling here today without Jamar Cooper. Congrats to him. He's a new daddy. Earl G., who's injured. And several other players unable to make the trip. 2 out of 2 at the free throw stripe. 73-59. The expansion team, Wildcats. Williams throws it away. It's a steal by Hines. Hines with numbers. Ball deflected out to Richardson for 3. Can't get it to go. Holloman follows the shot. Holloman swings it over to Pinkston. Triggers a triple. In and out for Robert. Hines, another offensive rebound. And Bailey's shot is blocked, but he's fouled. So Bailey will go to the line. Bailey, 56% free throw shooter, 1 out of 2 so far here this evening. Connects on that first one. Short on the second. Offensive rebound. Holloman for 3. Can't get it to go. Williams into the forecourt quickly. Here's Washington. Washington had a little trouble with it. Pinkston applies some pressure, and Florence will call timeout. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. Just underway here in the second half. Florence up by 13. 2 games next weekend that we'll be bringing to you on YouTube. Hampton Roads and the Primetime Players, 5 p.m. Saturday. Carolina Crusaders, Augusta Eagles, Sunday at 3. Chris Sheeman welcoming you back to Hartsville, South Carolina, home of the Florence Wildcats, their first game at home this season. They have the basketball with 15 on the shot clock out of the timeout. Thomas into the forecourt. Williams with 5 to shoot. Jackson open. Missed the 3 back rim. Rebound controlled by Pinkston. Here come the Cavaliers. Bailey for 3. Buries it. Big shot there, and all of a sudden the lead is 10. It's been as high as 19. That was back in the first half. Washington passes to Jackson. Now Williams driving in. Oh, threw it up and somehow able to get it to go. 75-63 now. Richardson. Here is Bailey. This is Holloman driving in, and he is fouled. So he will go to the line. Holloman has spent some time at the charity stripe here today, 64% during the season so far. First one up and in. And gets the second to go. Petersburg will go home next Saturday to take on the Hickory Hoyas at 5 p.m., then visit the Carolina Kings on the 27th. I mentioned this is the start of a busy stretch for Florence. They've had 3 weeks off, but they have 4 games in the next 8 days. 3 of those are at home. 5 games in the next 14 days. Washington, yes, with the hand in his face. It's a 3-pointer, they say. So the lead grows again to 13. Here's Holloman. Pinkston on the elbow. Pinkston into the lane. Scoops it up too strong. Tip back up by Holloman, no good. Ball deflected to Richardson. Now Pinkston will settle everybody down. Holloman. Pinkston. Ball deflected. Washington going for the steal. Good defense. But we'll stay on this end of the court. The shot clock reset, so I think they're going to have to change that. And they'll change it to 8, so 8 to shoot for the Cavaliers. Holloman guarded by Williams in the man-to-man. Pinkston fires it up, an air ball. Put back by Hines, no good, and I believe it's a shot clock violation, or did they get a foul called? They called a foul on Florence. Of course, it's the ECBL. When you can call a foul over anything else, you call the foul. Rasheed Hines, just 47% free throw shooter. He'll go to the line. Hang on now. Is there a timeout called? Kyle Dixon's got his team huddled up. And he'll do that while these free throws are shot. First one up and in. And connects on the second. Petersburg hanging around. They've been down double figures for most of the evening. Washington now. Sit out. Lacey comes in. Can't get the 3 to go. Bailey the rebound. Richardson, couple of fakes. Rises off the back of the rim. Lacey the board. Lacey is fouled, or no, it's poked away, out of bounds off the Cavaliers. So Florence is at the Crusaders. That's tomorrow, so start of a back-to-back weekend for the Wildcats at 3 p.m. Carolina Crusaders still undefeated, I believe. Then they host the Carolina Thunder Friday at 7, and then Augusta on Saturday at 5. 3 ball, no good from Thomas. So if you're a Florence fan thinking of coming out, you've got 2 chances next weekend on Friday at 7 and Saturday at 5. I like the idea of Friday night games. Well, most of the games played Saturday and Sunday, but get a Friday night game in there. Why not? Shot and miss from point blank by Hines. Here come the Wildcats now. Washington cut off. Washington tosses it to Thomas. Juggled it back to Quincy from deep. Not that time. He's cooled off a little bit here in this second half. That pass too strong for Holloman, out of bounds. Oh, folks, don't forget we got the YouTube chat going. Love to hear from you. If you want to communicate with me during today's broadcast, you can do that right there on the YouTube chat. We've heard from Quincy's family up in New Jersey. Also a few Petersburg fans, former player P.J. Torres, and others. Washington rises from left of the lane. Got it to go, and the lead is 14, they say. 80-66, the correct score on your scoreboard. I believe I gave Petersburg a 3 that might have been a 2, and that's why. So apologies for that. Trying to use his body to clear some space. Instead, Holloman traveled with the basketball. Hines is giving it to the official. Petersburg's got to be careful. They've got a couple of guys with a technical foul, and they've got a short bench to begin with. Reaching over Bailey. Couldn't poke it away, but steals it on the second effort. Good defense by him. Pinkston for 3. Yes. Again, Petersburg is right there. It's 11 still. They've cut it briefly to 9. Lacey to the cutter, Robinson. Robinson can't get it to go. Might have been blocked, but Thomas the offensive rebound. Alley-oop to Washington was off the mark. The ball goes back to the Cavaliers. 5:53 left to go. And it looks like we're going to have a timeout. Timeout on the court. We will step aside. 80-69. We're coming right back. Chris Sheeman welcoming you back to Hartsville, South Carolina. Florence by 11, 80-69. 5:53 left to go here in quarter number 3. Wherever you're watching from, we appreciate it. The broadcast portion of the season starting to wind down. 2 more weekends we'll be bringing you games of the week, and then the championship game on the 24th. Air ball by Bailey. Here's Lacey. Can't get it. Jackson, the putback. Nice patient offense from Havis Jackson. 12th in the league in rebounding. Averages a double-double at 15 and 10 per ball game. I mentioned it in the opening quarter. He and Leroy Williams are 6th and 5th, respectively, in blocks per game in the ECBL. Havis Jackson, good shooter as well. 56% from behind the arc and just 48% from inside the arc. Foul was called. I believe Petersburg is in the bonus. That was the discussion there. So that means more free throws. And it's John Holloman again. First one is up and good. Petersburg been able to draw a few more fouls. It has helped them hang in there, hang around. Again, the lead is 11. Petersburg's been as close as 9 here in the second half so far. Florence has led by as many as 19. That was in the first half. Thomas out near midcourt. Albert with the fake, and more fouls. This one away from the basketball. That one came with 12 on the shot clock. 5:11 to go on the game clock here in the third quarter. So Albert to inbound it. And an offensive foul. So turnover gives the ball back to Petersburg. Petersburg has yet to win on the road this year. They're 0-3. Last year they were 11-4. Lost a close game to the now defunct Fayetteville team in the conference championship. So far this year, things a little bit tougher for Kyle Dixon's team. Lost one of their top scorers from last year. More fouls, more free throw shooting. Who doesn't love that? Is it Holloman again? I believe so. Well, John Holloman making his living at the charity stripe here this evening. And gets them both, so single digits, 82-73. Lacey to the cutter. Albert had it rejected by Jones. Big shot block there. Quentin Jones using his long arms. Another sub. Thomas is out. Robinson back in for Florence as he catches the inbound. Skies it for Washington. Quincy for three, no. Followed the shot and had it poked away out of bounds. Lacey fingertipped it. And again, it's deflected out by Holloman. 19 to shoot, still plenty of time for Florence here. Another sub for the Wildcats coming back in. Michael Ellis the third. Foul called. I believe Ellis was grabbed. So they will inbound it again. Jackson gets it out. Floater by Albert, no. Here comes Petersburg, down just 9. Richardson gets it underneath. Bailey, back door was open, and the lead is 7. This is as close as Petersburg has been since the midway through or early on in the second quarter. Albert for three, no. Gotta love the fight from Petersburg. I told you Kyle Dixon's team is not going to go quietly. Good pass from Holloman. Jones lays it up and in. They're going to let Florence play through this. I'm surprised timeout isn't forthcoming here. Washington, top of the key, rises from the half circle, can't get it to go. Jackson, Washington drives on the baseline. Here's Lacey laying it up and in. Big bucket by Florence there to end this run. And we're going to get a timeout. Timeout on the court. We'll step aside. 3:30 left to play in the third quarter. 84-77 Florence. We'll be right back. (84-77) Florence, 3:30 left to go here in this third quarter. Chris Sheeman welcoming you back to Hartsville, South Carolina, in the PD. Richardson driving in, off the glass, got it to go. How about the little guy at 5'9", taking on the trees. Offensive foul as Richardson got popped. Everything going Petersburg's way right now. Richardson shaken up. Richardson threw it away. It's a steal. Galbraith comes into the game, fires a three off the steal, can't get it to go. An air ball, in fact. Jones the rebound. Here's a floater by Holloman. Yes. And it's a 3-point game. 2:49 left to go. Petersburg trying to come all the way back from 19 down. They trailed by 15. Quincy Washington forces the action, no good. Lacey, step back jumper, no. And Florence has gone ice cold. On the run, finger roll, no good by Holloman. Here comes Albert. Washington for, nope, wait a minute. We got another offensive foul. Richardson taking yet another charge. Timeout. Wait a minute. There's a double technical called, I believe, on Florence. I believe they just threw somebody out of the game. They did, and it's Lacey. He's gone. Dominique Lacey is tossed. So the Wildcats are coming unglued here. Petersburg chipping away. So Richardson will shoot the tee. He does. And now the second. 1 out of 2. So by the Rasheed Wallace logic of basketball, that should have only been one technical foul, since he went 1 out of 2 from the free throw stripe. Wasn't it Rasheed that said ball don't lie? I think so. Coming into the game, Tommy Starks to the bucket. Yes, and we are tied at 84. Petersburg's come back from 19 down and trailing by 15 at halftime. Turnaround shot no good by Ellis. Ellis over the back. You got to call a timeout if you're Florence here. Your team is completely out of sorts. They're committing frustrating fouls. I mean, if you're John Galbraith and company, Galbraith is out on the floor now, but you just did call a timeout. Do you want to burn another one here is the debate that you have, but at the same time, if the message in the first timeout didn't work, Tommy Starks gives Petersburg the lead, and Florence will call for time. 2:06 left to go. We got a tight one all of a sudden here in Hartsville. We'll be back. One more free throw to come for Tommy Starks, who shoots 67% from the charity stripe. Petersburg has come back to take the lead now at 2. 86-84. Krishima, glad to be back with you here in Hartsville. Albert goes behind the back. Bounce pass to Galbraith. Galbraith doubled up. Albert steps inside the arc and misses the jumper. It looks like we might have an over-the-back call on the rebound on Williams. So more free throws upcoming for Petersburg. This third quarter has taken almost an hour, it feels like. It has. First free throw no good by Jones. Actually, the real time, I believe, is 35 minutes. It just feels that way. feels like an hour. Players have either the league has to figure it out to either give these guys more breathing room out on the court, or the players have to figure out how to play without fouling every time. We see this week in and week out. Galbraith to the bucket. He's fouled, count the bucket. So Galbraith will go to the line with an opportunity to complete an old school three-point play and tie it up. The average time in these games has skyrocketed this year. Used to be a couple hours, about the time of a college basketball game. You were in and out as Galbraith misses the three-point play. Now it's a full-length NBA game, almost 2.5 hours is about what we've been averaging here on most of our broadcasts. And it's been solely because of fouls. Holloman, left of the lane, swishes it through. Petersburg back up by 3 as we approach 1 minute to play here in the third quarter. Galbraith to the cutter, Washington, and Washington could not get a handle on it. Turnover gives the ball back to Petersburg. I don't think Quincy Washington has scored here in the third quarter. Rasheed Hines coming back into the game for the Cavs. Holloman will get a well-deserved break. Pinkston into the forecourt. Inside 50 seconds to play. Cherry to the bucket. Reggie Cherry too strong off the glass, and Albert is fouled by Cherry. So first foul inside 2 minutes for Petersburg. Washington, and he's going to be bumped by Pinkston. With 35 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. That should be free throws, but they're inbounding. Almost a turnover now. Albert comes up with it, and Albert will shoot some free throws. I knew we were going to see free throws eventually. It's inevitable. So it's Justine Albert's turn. Albert, 12 points per ball game, 45% shooter, makes 2 out of every 3 from the charity stripe. And missed that one. Albert toes the line, short on the second as well. Hines pulls down the rebound. About a 5 or 6 second difference between game and shot clock here. Pinkston out near midcourt, 7 to shoot. Pinkston with 5. Pinkston fires it up off the back of the rim. Galbraith the rebound, and he's bumped by Cherry. So this time John Galbraith will go to the line. He is 1 out of 4 so far on the season. Connects on the first one. Chance to cut the deficit now to 1. One out of 2. Cherry the rebound. Cherry from past midcourt banks it in. Oh, Reggie Cherry. And Petersburg with the momentum as we go to quarter number 4. Reggie Cherry with the buzzer beater. We'll step aside, don't go too far. We've got a good fourth quarter finish for you coming up next. Well, we showed you the playoff picture as we go into the weekend. Crusaders have won. They're 6-0 now, I believe. Chris Sheeman welcoming you back to Hartsville. Fourth quarter underway. Petersburg by 5, a 20-point turnaround in that third quarter. Florence led by 15 at the half, by as many as 19 in the ball game. Floater by Albert, too strong. Out on the run, it's Starks. Can't get it, but he's fouled. Tommy Stark, 67% free throw shooter on the season. Back at the line, rims in that first one. And the second. So the lead is 7. Petersburg with their biggest lead of the evening. Quincy Washington shut out in the third quarter. What does he have left in the tank? Driving to the bucket. They're going to count it, and the foul. First points of the second half for Quincy. And he'll go to the line, try to complete the old school three-point play. Quincy, 73% free throw shooter. Gets the job done, and the lead is 4, 94-90. Petersburg looking to go over that 500 mark at 5-4. Pinkston rims it in. Left open, 96-90. He's played better here in this second half. Washington from deep. Good box out by Hines to pull down the rebound. Starks to Jones. Jones, two-hand jam. It is all Petersburg right now. Some of the youth, some of the inexperience starting to show a bit for the Wildcats. Quincy Washington doubled up. And is it a foul or a jump ball? I believe they're going to get a foul on Petersburg here. So Washington will inbound it, trailing by 8. Wildcats, first of 4 games in the next 8 days, 3 of those here at home, this being one of them. Quincy Washington is fouled, and he'll go to the line. So the whistles are still coming, folks, and they will come for the rest of the game. It will come down to free throw shooting. I guarantee it. Washington, first free throw up and good. And the second as well. Quincy Washington, I mentioned it in the first half. He's third in the league in scoring. 37.4 points per ball game. Averages a double-double as well, 10.4 rebounds. Floating it up and in, Jones. Petersburg, first to crack the century mark. This has been, by Petersburg standards, a very good shooting game, and as Washington gets another call on them. These players know all you have to do is draw contact, and there will be a foul called. So it's smart by Washington to take advantage of that. Washington making his living at the free throw stripe early on here in quarter number 4. First one bounces out and back in. We mentioned it in the first half. Petersburg, the Cavaliers have struggled shooting and scoring the basketball. They're second worst in scoring, tied with Augusta. They're 13th in field goal percentage, but they're over 100 points here early on in the fourth quarter. Free throw shooting has played a part, but they've also shot the ball much better, especially in the second half. Like that one from Hines. I mean, that's good defense. Hines turnaround jumper from the baseline. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that if you're Florence. Galbraith drives to the bucket. Shot blocked. Stays with it. Can't get it to go. Another foul called. I'm sorry. There was pure and simple. Jones did not commit a foul there. There's just no way you can play defense like that. So Galbraith at the line for 2, misses the first one. And the second. So Galbraith unable to make them pay. Ball don't lie. And here comes Petersburg leading by 8. Jones missed it back rim. Galbraith the rebound. And yeah, I mean, Jones is right up on him. Galbraith draws the contact. 9:29 left to go in the ball game. Galbraith back at the line. Are they in the bonus already? Are you kidding me? With 9:29 to go. I mean, that's the only reason that they could be shooting free throws right now. So Florence is in the bonus, and that will benefit them down by now 7. So the free throw shooting contest is now a 6-point contest. It's Petersburg 102, Florence 96. Richardson back out there. Holloman's defender gambled, and he'll shoot free throws. John Holloman shot the ball well from the charity stripe here this evening. And he goes back to the line for 2 more. Connects on that first one. The lead is back to 7. And the second. So Petersburg back up by 8. 104-96. Just about 3 minutes into this fourth quarter. Galbraith directing traffic. Throws cross court, open look. Albert can't get it to go. Galbraith tips it up, but it goes out of bounds, and they say last touched by the Cavaliers. Coming back in for Florence is Leroy Williams II. Inbound to Robinson. Washington guarded closely by Hines. Washington to the bucket, and he's fouled. So Quincy Washington, 73% free throw shooter. I don't think we played 10 consecutive seconds so far in this fourth quarter. That is how tight they're calling it. Washington, yes again. Holloman pull-up jumper. Can't get it to go. Skying for the rebound is Albert. Here comes Quincy Washington and company. Washington driving in, pull up inside the arc. Got it to go. And the lead is 4 now. Looks like we might be getting a timeout here. We do. Timeout, Cavaliers, as they see their deficit cut to 4. We'll be right back. Petersburg basketball out of the timeout. They lead by 4. 8:23 left to play here in the final quarter. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you here in Hartsville. Driving in is Richardson, gets the roll. I like what I've seen from him. Hasn't had a lot of time this year, but he is producing here this evening. Jenkins gets it over to Albert. Albert to the bucket, draws the foul. Destine Albert, 67% free throw shooter. Buries that first one. Albert, 12.2 points off the bench, 3.2 assists, couple of steals per game, 45% shooter. Good man to have if you're John Galbraith coming off the bench. Petersburg gets the basketball back off that missed free throw that went out of bounds. Cavaliers trying to win their first on the road this season, and Bailey is shaken up. So Lorenzo Bailey goes down, and while they look at him, we will step aside. Well, Bailey had to be helped off by his teammates. That is not a good sign. Petersburg already playing shorthanded. Just 8 guys. Now they're down to 7. And you hope Lorenzo Bailey will be okay. I believe Reggie Cherry, who hit that buzzer beater from past mid-court, has come on for Bailey. 8:02 left to play in a 5-point game. Petersburg, as I mentioned before we went away, looking for its first road victory of the season. Good ball movement here. Pinkston for 3. Got the front of the rim, but that's it. Here's Washington. Washington 3-on-2. Pulls up. Can't get it to go. Tip for the rebound. Cherry comes up with it, and he's grabbed. We have a final. High Point over Hampton Roads, 132-125. So High Point with their 5th victory of the season. So Petersburg pretty much assured a playoff spot, but they're battling right now for seeding. That's an interesting note for Cavs fans. Richardson into the forecourt. Pinkston, same spot he was before. Here's Hines scooping it over to Holloman. Holloman, yes, in the lane. Counted in the foul. Boy, John Holloman has done a great job drawing contact here in this second half especially. If you're just joining us, Petersburg has come back from 19 down in the first half. They trailed by 15, 70-55 at the half. A 20-point turnaround in the third quarter. They led by 5 entering this fourth quarter. Free throw missed. Here comes Albert. Albert rising short on that shot. Jackson the rebound. Albert gets it out to Williams for 3. Yes! Big bucket as the crowd has been kind of quiet. Florence down just 4 now. Petersburg trying to spoil the home opener for the Wildcats as Richardson is fouled apparently. The home crowd doesn't think so, and they are giving it to the officials. So Richardson will go to the line. Both teams are in the bonus already. 7 minutes left to go in the ball game. Like I said, it's basically a free throw shooting contest at this point. That's what's going to decide it. The officials have made that abundantly clear. 1 out of 2 for Richardson. 109-104. Washington rises just inside the arc, can't get it to go. Followed his shot. Washington swings it out to Williams. Williams back to Washington. Washington, nice move to the bucket by Quincy there. Richardson on the near side of your screen. Gets a screen. Takes it inside, throws it over to Cherry. Extra pass, Holloman floats it up. That was blocked by Jackson. Jenkins comes out with the and double dribbled with the basketball, so a mistake there. And the ball will go back to Petersburg. Cavaliers started last year as the Petersburg Revolution. Had all kinds of ownership troubles last year. Kyle Dixon has steadied that ship big time. You can't give that guy enough credit. He took over the situation last year when it was pretty dire. Pinkston can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, quick out to Holloman, who triggers the triple and hits. 112-106. Jenkins. Albert gets a screen. Albert extra pass and threw it away. It's a steal by Holloman. Holloman gets it back, trying to no-look it to Pinkston, and it's deflected out of bounds. Last touch by the Wildcats. We will have a timeout. 5:40 left to go in the ball game. 112-106 Cavaliers by 6. We'll be back after this. Well, we mentioned this is the playoff picture coming into today. High Point won, so they're 5-4. Petersburg can stay even with them if they can win here today. Carolina Crusaders also winning. They're still undefeated. Boy, they and the primetime players are going to battle it out in that South. It looks like the All-Stars certainly in the mix as well. Chris Shima, glad to be back with you. 5.5 left to go. That ball blocked out of bounds. 4 to shoot for the Cavs now. They lead by 6. Pinkston inbound. Here's Richardson. Richardson's got a hoist. He does, and it goes out of bounds. So good defense on that sequence from Florence. Quincy Washington called for an illegal screen. Washington on the court with Albert and Jackson. Jenkins and Williams. That's the 5 for Florence. On the court now for Petersburg is Cherry, also Pinkston, Holloman, Hines, and Richardson. Cherry for the triple. Can't get it to go. Rebound Quincy Washington. Quincy to the bucket, floats it up, yes, and the foul. What a move. It looks like Petersburg, Quentin Jones getting set to come into the ball game. It's interesting, there's no live stats or anything. I'm just kind of curious. Petersburg, with their short bench, losing Bailey to an injury. Did Cherry just foul out? Did they call another T? This is unbelievable. Quincy Washington shoots the technical free throw and hits it. And now he'll try to complete the old school three-point play. You look at the crowd here, and it's a good crowd, and it's the home opener for Florence, but if this is the product we're going to continue to put out, where it's just free throws after fouls after fouls after fouls, are these people coming back next weekend to watch that? Well, they're into it now as Hines turns it over. Strong move to the bucket. Washington, just a little too strong. Here comes Jones now. Out to Richardson. Pinkston all day. Can't get it to go. And falling down, the Florence player, I believe that was Robinson, he had to give the ball up because he was falling down or it'd be called a travel, so he just kind of threw it away. And they're going to keep it on this end of the court. Pinkston, 16 to shoot, plenty of time. Here's Jones. Jones with the hand in his face, no good. Rebound controlled by Williams. 3-on-3 here for Florence. Rising is Jenkins, can't get it to go. And the rebound controlled by Jones. Richardson driving in. Richardson, no. Tipped up, no, by Holloman. And it's going out of bounds. Last touch by Florence. Well, if you have any friends or family who left the broadcast when it was halftime, tell them to come back. We got a good finish in store here. Hines thought about the three. Drives into the lane. Pinkston can't get the roll. Williams the rebound. 4-on-3 for Florence. Here's Jackson. Rejected by Holloman. Boy, Petersburg's had about 3 opportunities to tie it or take the lead. Turnaround shot. Holloman, no good. They're going to get another one. Florence, I meant to say. Alley-oop. Good job by Williams to catch it. He lays it up and in. We are even at 112. Three minutes to go in the ball game. Richardson turns on the Jets, banks it off the glass and in. Petersburg back by 2. Jenkins. Here's Washington. Washington to the bucket, just short. Fight for the rebound. It goes out of bounds, and they're going to keep it on this side of the court. So Washington to inbound it. Oh no. Jackson lost it, able to recover. Washington, he thought, I believe there was a fan who might have been a Petersburg fan screaming that the shot clock was running down, and I think that's why Washington hoisted that, but the shot clock had reset. Boy, you don't expect that from the home crowd, but I think that was a visiting fan. Richardson to the bucket. He draws the foul. So he'll go to the line. Both teams have been in the bonus since really the opening minutes of the quarter. First free throw, no good by Richardson. Thomas back in for the Wildcats. Out is Jenkins. Second one is good from Richardson, so the lead is 3. Thomas into the forecourt. Wildcats have won their last 2, trying to even their record at 500, win their first home game of the season. Petersburg trying to go to 5-4, stay in a battle for that second seed with High Point. Washington, yes! Petersburg also trying to get their first road victory of the season. Inside 2 minutes to go. Holloman. Here comes Jones, the reverse, too strong. Tip back up and in by Hines. Full court press. And now Thomas will take it across the timeline. Washington around his defender. Yes, and the foul. Quincy Washington with a chance to tie it up at 1:17. Washington, pressure situation here for this young man. No problem, he says. 1:17 apiece. 90 seconds left to play. Richardson into the forecourt. John Holloman being hounded by Thomas. That's Jones for 3. Can't get it to go. Washington almost had it poked away. And he's fouled from behind by Bailey. So good to see Lorenzo Bailey check back into the ball game. After suffering that injury, he was shaken up. But he commits a costly foul here. Quincy Washington can give his team the lead now. And he does. Second effort, it's good. The lead is 2 for Florence. 119, 117. Quick trigger 3, Starks in and out. Ball bounced around. Coming up with the rebound is Williams. Into the forecourt, it's Thomas. Good ball movement, open look. Robinson, 3, yes! The home crowd comes alive as Petersburg goes up by 5. 122-117. Timeout, Petersburg. Florence with the lead will take time and come right back. 5-point lead for Florence. Welcome back, everybody. Chris Sheeman, glad to be back with you. If you're Petersburg, got to go quick 2 for 1 here. Let's see what they have in store. Pinkston. And they're going to get a foul. John Holloman draws the foul, so Petersburg will get its 2 for 1 here, provided Holloman can hit these 2 free throws. Petersburg trying to go to 5-4. If Florence can hang on here, they would go to 3-3. Even their record at 500. Holloman, first free throw, no good. So if you're Petersburg, you got a foul, regardless of what happens here on this next free throw attempt. One out of 2 for Holloman, still a 2-possession game. Williams, and he'll be bumped by Holloman. So it's pretty simple if you're Florence here and you can hit your free throws. It's going to make life pretty difficult for Petersburg. Leroy Williams, 64% free throw shooter on the season. Can't get that one to go. So Petersburg's still alive. They're still alive regardless if it's 1 or 2, but if he misses them both, they can put that much more of a dent into it. Gets 1 out of 2. So it's a 5-point game again. Do not foul if you're Florence. To the bucket, Richardson, no. Tip, no. Florence comes up with it again. Throw it ahead. Mr. Thomas can't get it to go. Starks. 2 players ahead. Quick dunk by Holloman. It's a 3-point game, 123-120 with 11.7 seconds. And did Petersburg call for time? No, they didn't. So I'm not sure why we had that stoppage there, but Florence will inbound it. Petersburg got to get the quick foul if you can't. You could 13.8, I believe. That's why they stopped it, so they wanted to reset the clock. 13.8 is the correct time left. Robinson is fouled. So just a couple of ticks came off the clock. Robinson, a good free throw shooter, 77%. Oh for 1 here. Still can make it a 2-possession game, so this is the free throw that, if you're Florence, really counts. And he does. So 1 out of 2. Petersburg's got to hurry. Starks for, nope, he gets it to Richardson for 3, no good. Pinkston turnaround 3, no. Rebound controlled by Williams, and that will do it. Florence has won its 3rd straight game, and their home opener 124-120. The Wildcats go to 3-3. Petersburg falls to 4-5. They host Hickory Saturday at 5. The Wildcats go to the Carolina Crusaders in Columbia tomorrow at 3 p.m. Our next game of the week will be a doubleheader next week. On Saturday, Hampton Roads and the Primetime Players at 5. On Sunday, Carolina hosting Augusta at 3. Once again, your final score, it's Florence 124, Petersburg 120. Thanks for watching, everybody, and have a great rest of your weekend.